all of the stocks that I bought this week. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. I got the clothing line to prove it. And today we're going to go through what I picked up this week. Usually I post this video on a Friday, but Thursday and Friday were two absolutely insane days. In the end, I didn't pick anything up on Thursday or Friday. So this week I did add 2 positions in 4 different companies. One of them was quite a big addition, and I have loaded up my account for next week to see what happens. Because I mean, that was just one of the most insane ends to a week I have ever seen. On Friday, there was a stage where my portfolio was down about 9%. And we actually closed the day in the green over 1.5%. I mean, what an absolutely insane intraday movement. So all of the stocks I purchased were at the start of the week. I didn't let my emotions get involved, and I didn't pick up anything on Thursday or Friday. And now we had this long weekend to kind of evaluate the situation. So I have my eyes on a few companies for Tuesday depending on what happens next. But anyway, today we're just speaking about what I bought this week. So right before we get into the video, guys, could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button, as it really does help me in the channel out a lot. I would really appreciate it. If you're new around here, what are you waiting for, my friend? Hit that juicy red subscribe button and join the family. And please do drop me a comment down below. Just let me know what you think of the video and also what you bought this week. I'm always interested in hearing from you guys. With that being said, into the first company of today. So guys, this week I actually picked up an extra 80 shares in Workhorse. Now I bought it on a few separate occasions, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you my total position in Workhorse and how it's looking. Now obviously I did dollar cost average up quite a bit, but I'm still fine with that. So we are sitting on 200 shares now with a $16.80 cost basis. We're up about 16.5% or so, but honestly guys, with Workhorse, absolutely anything can happen on a daily basis right now. A lot of people are getting so caught up in, is this going to go below $17 again? Or is it going to go to $16 again? Or will we push to $22 next week? Look guys, in all honesty, I really don't mind what happens with Workhorse on a daily basis right now. At the end of the day, all we really have to care about is when the USPS contract gets announced. It really, to me, is that simple right now. We cannot get super caught up in all of these intraday moves unless you're obviously a swing trader or a day trader. This week, I bought shares of Workhorse in the low 17s and the high 17s. I keep getting the question, do I think it's a buy at this price? Most definitely I do. Genuinely, I am considering adding even more next week after adding an extra 80 this week. Now look, I'm not really somebody who tries to analyze charts too much. It's not what I'm very good at. I don't try and time the market or, pick where the new bottom is, pick where the new high is. But even I can tell on Workhorse right now, if we look at the chart, we are making higher highs and we are also making higher lows. We're in a very clear uptrend. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if next week we hit 21 or maybe even $22. And it also wouldn't surprise me if we drop back down into maybe the low 18s. If you're looking for an entry price though, I mean, if Workhorse gets to $100 a share, are you going to care if you bought it $19.70 or $18.50? No, you are still going to have made an awful lot of money. I mean, I've bought this company here and here and probably here and here, and I've bought it here and here. I've just bought it the whole time. A lot of people are also getting very frustrated, that it's taken a lot of time for the USPS news to come out. I'm happy about it. I got the opportunity to add an extra 80 shares to my position this week. If the USPS news came out last week and we shot up to $50 a share, I would have only had 120 shares. When we're in this stage of accumulation, okay, when we're constantly going up and down, it's their time to buy more. It really is, before the massive breakout happens. If this is your first time on the channel, I literally have so many videos on Workhorse. My most recent one, I have an interview with the CFO of the company for the second time, speaking about Hitachi, if you want to check that out. But ultimately guys, I just think Workhorse has so many absolutely incredible catalysts going for them that will come to fruition in the very short term. I mean, the USPS contract, more than likely we're going to hear about this month. From the interview I did with the CFO, we know that they're in talks with pretty much every single major retailer in the US. They now have this strategic agreement with Hitachi to go alongside their strategic partnership with Duke Energy. They have amazing connections, okay? They're in a great cash position, they're on track to hit targets, and they have all of these catalysts. I mean, I've never seen a stock that makes more sense personally. That's why I've gone so heavy into it. But that is Workhorse. Obviously, if you want more information, just check out all of the videos I have on them. Okay, and the second and final EV play that I made this week was Diamond Peak, Lordstown Motors. Again, I love this company so much. So I added 20 shares at $16.75 a share. So after doing that, I have 120 shares in the company and a cost basis of $14.03. I initially bought these guys in the low 12s. I'm still very happy with that cost basis. Again, it's the kind of one where we have an absolutely major catalyst coming, which is the merger, which is happening this quarter of this year. So within the next few months, that merger is going to happen. And without a doubt in my mind, this share price is going to absolutely skyrocket, people. So again, this is the kind of company where I think intraday, anything can happen. It'll go up, it'll go down, it'll follow the general EV trend. But when our big catalyst comes out, our big piece of news comes out, we're going to be in an amazing position. So you're always going to see headlines like this one, okay? Why Diamond P Holdings Corp is ahead of itself. I'm sick to death of seeing these kind of articles, okay? They are trying to value and evaluate growth stocks as they would a well-established blue chip company or a dividend stock. It's just not the way the world works. They're going to speak about PE ratios and blah blah blah. At the end of the day, who cares? That is not how we can begin to value these kind of companies. It really is not, people. When I look at Lordstown, what I see is cutting edge technology in regards to electric pickup trucks. I see a plant capable of producing over 600,000 vehicles a year. I see a company who is currently hiring. I see a company who we know for a fact has 27,000 pre-orders, which by this stage is more than likely in the 30,000s. I would even argue potentially the 40,000s. I see General Motors also being an investor. I see a company who wants to be the first to market in their emerging space. I see pro forma implied equity value of $1.6 billion, and I see a market cap of 616 million. I see an awful lot of fantastic things about this company. And guys, genuinely, this is my favorite EV stock to buy right now at these price points, right alongside Workhorse. The reason I am prioritizing getting more money into Workhorse is because their catalyst is coming sooner, more than likely. Lordstown more than likely won't come for another couple of months. In my opinion, it'll be towards the end of the year. So I'm not in as much of a rush to get into Lordstown, but you can bet if ever there is a considerable dip, or even a relatively decent dip, I will buy more without a doubt. I've bought them every single week for weeks and weeks now, and I don't plan on slowing down. Even if I'm just able to add somewhere in the realms of 20 to 40 shares every single week for a month or so, I'm going to have a really nice position. And also, let's just keep in mind that the downside is very, very low at these prices. They are a SPAC. They were $10 before the announcement was made. The risk is low compared to what the immense potential is. And if you do want more information on this company, I have a full video on them from only about a week ago. It's still relatively up-to-date information. But that was the second company. So altogether, we bought 80 shares in Workhorse and 20 shares in Diamond Peak. Okay, next up I went ahead and I picked up a little bit more Apple. So I went ahead and I got 3 shares and I got in at about $127 a share. So I mean, obviously it wasn't the best entry point, but I've spoken about this many times in the past, okay? When it comes to my massive tech companies like Apple, Facebook, and Amazon in particular, I'm pretty much happy to dollar cost average at any given price. Now, of course, hindsight is 20/20, and if I had have just waited 2 more days, I could have got in a little bit cheaper. But at the end of the day, these things are going to happen, people. It really is that simple. And again, I just want to bring you to the 6-month chart on Apple, and that 8% dip we saw on Thursday was one of the biggest dips we will find on this 6-month chart. It pretty much goes back to March crash levels, and I think it was just a part of, you know, a broader market sell-off, and also the stock split, some people running away with their profits. Me, I have zero, and I mean absolutely zero intention of running away with any profits that I do have in Apple right now. And again, it's big tech. It's one I just want the dollar cost average into for a very, very long time. We have a $2.1 trillion market cap. We were up as high as $2.25 trillion, people. I mean, this is literally the biggest company in the entire world. Apple in itself is worth more than the entire FTSE right now. They literally have new products coming out all of the time. They have so many growth catalysts coming out every single month. They are such a well-established brand. People love their products. I love their products. They have an incredible balance sheet. What's not to love? Again, it's the kind of company where you go to the 5-year chart and there's only a couple of considerable dips. And I mean, me, I don't plan on selling this company within 5 years. This is one that I could see myself holding for decades and decades and decades. If I was to go into the negative with Apple, it would not worry me whatsoever. It's the kind of company I will never be in a rush to get super heavily involved in, but I will almost always buy them every single month to some degree. So yes, I bought a little bit high. I bought at $127. Maybe I should have expected this considering the stock split, blah blah blah. It happens. I'm not upset about it. So I mean, that 8% day that we saw on Thursday was their worst day since mid-March. I believe they had a 12% dip one day in March. It says here March 20th it slipped 6.35%. But if you actually go to the stock chart, you can see that Friday's close through to Monday's close was 12.8%. Now, tech sold off big time here anyway. Microsoft was down 6.2%. Facebook 3.76%, okay? Alphabet, Netflix, Amazon, all down over 4%. The S&P 500 tech was down nearly 6%. It wasn't anything crazy whatsoever. And on the yearly chart, even after this dip, Apple is still up 126%, which is absolutely immense. And on the 5-year chart, they're up 323%, people. I mean, I'm very, very happy with my position in these guys. Okay, there's just one more company I went ahead and bought this week. That is Facebook stock. I bought 1.5 shares. And again, I bought Wednesday before the crash happened. It is what it is. I'm not upset. I bought these guys for the first time at $205. I now have a cost basis of about $240. Very similarly to Apple, I'll just always buy them. I always say this when I speak about Facebook, but in my opinion, if you are willing to hold on to this company for a few years, the odds of you not making considerable money are so low. I always have to go through this, but it's just literally the juiciest balance sheet you will see in your life, and I don't use the word juicy very lightly. Cash and equivalents, 21 billion. Cash and short-term investments, 58.24 billion. That's a lot of cash and short-term investments. Now, current assets, 68 billion. Total assets, nearly 140 billion. And then things just get silly. I mean, our current liabilities are at 11.3 billion. Let me bring you back up to our current assets, which are 68 billion. And furthermore, just our cash and equivalents are over 21 billion. They could wipe out their current liabilities and not even have to think about it, still be in an absolutely amazing cash position and short-term asset position. Then we have our total liabilities, which are 29 billion. Again, they could clear that out and not even really dent the balance sheet. They are just in such an incredibly powerful position cash-wise. I really cannot stress that enough, because it is one of the reasons that makes me want to invest in them so heavily. The other one is the fact they own Facebook, they own Instagram, they own WhatsApp, 3 of the most popular social media platforms in the world. WhatsApp isn't even monetized yet. They could do so at the snap of a fingers if they needed more cash. Literally everybody with a Wi-Fi connection uses one of these apps every single day. I mean, I use all of them every single day. This article here, why Facebook stock climbed 15.6% in August. Facebook has seen explosive growth in a number of users. WhatsApp Business now has 50 million users, and the company has created grant programs to help businesses through the challenges of the pandemic. Advertisers could also stream back to Facebook after a high-profile boycott back in July. Well, that ended up having no effect. And the top 100 advertisers only make up 16% of revenue for the second quarter, so the impact may not be significant. Facebook has recently added Facebook Shops, which should just be another avenue for more revenue. Oculus announced it will soon merge with Facebook accounts, and that could be the start of Facebook leveraging an Oculus data for more targeted ads, which again should boost advertising revenue for the company. But at the end of the day, Facebook's an absolute giant. I mean, they are insanely massive in the world of social media, which is only getting bigger and bigger every single month, every single year, without exception. And they, my friends, are the 4 stocks I bought this week. So we bought 80 shares in Workhorse, really upped my position there. 20 in Lordstown Motor, so that was an extra 20% of the 100 I already had. We just bought a few more in Apple, just dollar cost averaging, and we just bought another share and a half in Facebook. Again, just slowly but surely increasing that position. I do have my eyes on quite a few different companies that I'm looking to get into now, so some companies I want to get into for the very first time, so I'll obviously keep you guys up to date in regards to that. So guys, there we have it. Now my goal for next week is to get into at least one brand new position to start, somewhat expanding my horizons inside of the portfolio. And of course, if you have watched until the end of the video, you, my friend, are a true legend, and I really do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't yet, could I please ask you to hit that like button, drop me a comment down below, and subscribe if you're new around here, because all that really helps me out. And if you want real-time updates every single time I buy or sell any company, literally ever, hit the first link in the description, sign up to be a Patreon member, and you will get all of those benefits. You'll also get access to new ticker symbols that I'm researching. I just called out one earlier on today, and loads more as well. But anyway guys, I really do appreciate your time, I appreciate your support, and as well, thank you all so much for 30,000 subscribers, which happened last night. That is insane to me. I'm lost for words. This always happens when I try to speak about the subs. But from the bottom of my heart, a big thank you to every single one of you who has, supported the channel in any way whatsoever. You mean an awful lot to me. Anyway guys, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for the next video. Peace.